For this portion of the tutorial, we need to have Edit Raw Values enabled under Settings. If you haven't done so already, pause and do that now. If you've already enabled raw value editing, then let's look at adding random motion. So now we have a game loop that moves our bug over and over again, but we don't really want it to move in a straight line. So let's look at how to move our bug randomly on the page. Before we jump into adding random motion, we need to talk a little bit about what raw values are and how we can edit them. Tap anywhere on the page to open the editor, tap to go to the Scripting tab, and tap on our subroutine Move Bug. Tap to open the script Move Object. Tap next to the Position property. You'll see the same sliders that we saw before. These allow you to visually position your object on the page. Click Cancel to close this box. Once you've enabled raw value editing, you'll notice that next to each property, there's now a blue circle with an eye in it. If you tap on the eye, this will allow you to edit the raw values of each property rather than the display values. Raw values refers to the value the program uses for a given property. This is in comparison to the display value, which is what a user sees. For example, you might choose the color red from the color palette, but the program actually reads this as a three-part number, based on the amount of red, green, and blue in the color you chose. Position and size have raw values as well. For example, the X position of an object refers to its position along the X axis from 0 to 100 as a percentage of screen size. Similarly, the Y position is also the position of the object along the Y axis from 0 to 100 as a percentage of screen size. The position the program uses is based on the upper left corner of an object. The height and width of an object are also measured as a percentage of screen size. If we look at the raw value for position and size, you'll see four numbers. These represent the X position, Y position, width, and height, all as a percentage of screen size. These are what we refer to as the raw values for the position and size property. So let's look at generating a random number and using that as our position for an object. Tap on the green plus sign to add a script. Tap on the script group Variables and Calculations and scroll down until you find the script Get Random Number. This script requires a minimum value and a maximum value. These are preset at 0 and 100 respectively. Since position is measured as a percentage of screen size from 0 to 100, we'll leave these as they are. So this script will get a value between 0 and 100 and store it as a new variable. Let's give this variable a name. Tap next to Variable Name and enter POSX. This will represent our X position for our bug object. Find the clone icon at the bottom of the property editor and click on that. You should see a message, Script successfully cloned. Click OK. Swipe right to return to our list of scripts. You'll notice a second copy of our Get Random Number script at the bottom of the list. Tap to open that. This is an exact copy of the script we just created to get a random number for the X position. We want to keep the minimum and maximum values the same for the Y position, so the only thing we need to change here is the variable name. Tap next to Variable Name, and instead of calling this POSX, we'll call it POSY. This will represent the Y position of our object. Swipe right again to return to our list of scripts. So we're now getting two random numbers that represent the X and Y position of our object. Keep in mind that scripts run in the order in which they're listed. This is called sequencing. Since we want to use these numbers in our Move Object script, we'll need to make sure that they come above that script in the list. Click on the red minus sign, click on the hamburger stack next to the first Get Random Number script, and drag it above the Move Object script in the list. Do the same for the second Get Random Number script. When you're done, click on the orange X. Now we'll need to use our random numbers in our Move Object script. Remember, we talked about two ways to work with variable values. Let's now look at the second way, which is to call the value of a variable by dereferencing. Dereferencing tells the program to use the value of a given variable. To dereference a variable, we put the name of that variable in between curly braces. For example, if we want the program to use the value of the variable named var1, we would put left curly brace, var1, right curly brace. Tap to open our Move Object script. Now tap on the blue eye to the right of the position property. We'll now edit the raw values for the position to use our random numbers instead of the numbers that are currently here. 1, 2, 3 button in the lower left of my keyboard. Then I'll tap on the button that shows a pound sign or hashtag. I can then find the left and right curly braces just to the left of the return key. So to call the random number we generated for the X position, I'll use left curly brace, POSX, which is the name of the variable, right curly brace. Then I'll add a colon, adding a left curly brace, POSY, right curly brace. This tells the program to use the randomly generated values that we named POSX and POSY. When your values look like what you see on the screen, click Save. Since we now want the bug to move to the absolute position on the screen, we want to turn relative positioning off. Let's try running our app again to see this in action. You should now see the bug move randomly around the screen rather than in a straight line. Awesome!